The egg of Amalgamous and the infinite centrifugal Bugle. In a troubled place, in a troubled time, somewhere in a troubled world, there were voices. "O great Amalgamous," they cried, for he, it was said, would be born of the egg. "O great Amalgamous," they named him, for the egg was of the many. "O great Amalgamous," they rejoiced, for Amalgamous would be indeed great. There was a blowing of trumpets when Amalgamous hatched. People drank in jubilation, but never let their eyes stray for long from the glass mountain. For it was there that Amalgamous hatched, from there that he hooted like the grandest locomotive embarking on the longest journey through the most many hills and the most many scenes of all types. Amalgamous himself was for a quest, formed as he was for light to bring, and futures to form in the fine alloys of seed and sun, gold, silver and cobalt, of briarwood, of sand from the beaches of the New World, and molten orbs that once a fire did make in old Caprium, home of the Celibus. They danced, feet left for the air, as if never to return, and heads tilted. There were nods and grins, teeth and lips, pouts and puckers. In all, the fuss of the hatch took 7 days to die, in which time Amalgamous had learned to fly. Into the egg of Amalgamous, lasses had offered soft hands, lads the urge to stand. Men gave sturdy gaze and fortitude. Old men gave to the egg the gift of the seen and the known. Women of shy ways lent introspective labyrinths of uninterrupted solitary song. Those of outward ways, the eyes of seers. All women gave to the egg the knowing that could come from nothing. Dogs barked into the egg air, filled with excited urge. Cats mewed in sharp scents and undiluted calm. Fish gave to the egg their glide, elves the silent way to fly. It was to the egg the pigs gave placid repose, the squirrels duty, the bats vision when eyes were closed. Unto the egg the fox gave its smile, children gave joined hands, bridges for isles, and lovers gave their heights, states of mind that changed all heights, so Amalgamous' eye would always see, not what was there, but what could be in the champion's mind. To unfold that which would not harm, would not alter, yet beautify the cold. Amalgamous then would not kill, not force all to share his will, but to give to all the wondrous eye with which to judge, build, and darkness defy. For Amalgamous, it was said, would take all sides, for he was all things, the feel of the world, which would be a hand to hold it. No one had seen him. The glass mountain rose high, and from here it was that he left. Amalgamous rose higher, defied all eyes that might glimpse, rejoiced on the current, felt starlight tickle his spine. There, up there, where air thinned, sound silenced but for wind, all that he was began to call for its share of Amalgamous' conscious mind, and each took a turn to surface and settle, like angels gathering on a cloud, diners seated with the chef, like leaves on the tree of days. The pig gave the flight quiet single line, the lovers a sense of wondrous time, and the hands of the maidens touched the air. The fox smiled, the dog yearned, the old men pointed, the old women whispered. We seek now the infinite centrifugal bugle. Though such things had never been known, a squirrel bit upon the notion, and children's hands bolt all to one pair of eyes that saw the way. Not just were there glass mountains on the great journey to the centrifugal bugle. Mountains of jewels there were, and of rainbows. Not just trees of wood, but those of crystal and amber, those of air that was breathed once of magnificent minds. The breaths of anyone who had for a moment had magnificence for a time. And the air far above tasted of salt and bread and lime. Amalgamous drew all possible thoughts from each inch he journeyed. He carved and healed, broke and fixed the Gulf Stream's flow, the nimbus wakes, the chandeliers of snowy flakes. Over cold iced seas where rainbow fish reside, to hot dry plains where without his eyes, and only without, he saw microbes creep to a rhythm they did not know they had. And where Amalgamous flew, sadness lifted from the hearts of those with hearts, though they knew not why, and for those with none he was like the sun, bringing flowers to bloom. Rivers ran to foam, patterns that were music to eyes. Fungi grew hats that better suited them, and oysters clapped like castanets. Amalgamous then had to speak. He had yet to speak. He had yet to make the many voices as one for the crowd to chant a single song. But we shall, he said, and the job was done, so that the question could be asked. What do we imagine might the infinite centrifugal bugle be? What might we suppose followed swiftly by? None of us knows. And so it was that as it set to think, all parts linked, would we hear the bugle, do you think? We might imagine it floats upon the air, that it plays infinitely to itself songs of who knows what, but that it may be silent we must also be aware. No reason to play, perhaps no air. And would it be up here or down there? Looking perhaps for a brassy glint, and perhaps to be drawn by the sight of a circular wind worthy of its centrifugal name, Amalgamous' great eyes watched, listening for a song, but also for the silence of a place where things wait for music to play. He remained patient, and with one more sense he felt the spaces he passed through for the strange touch against his skin that the essence of the infinity might bring. It was on the skin of Amalgamous that an essence did indeed fall, where the land below waved like sea, yet where no water flowed. The dust tasted of tobacco, of herbs, and the forest grumbled, not through displeasure, but displacement. Rock against clay grated, sand against chalk hissed, and all around the sound of a tectonic kiss. What place, thought Amalgamous, as one as this? And within him a dog barked, a cat's eyes lined up sharp, a lone old woman's voice said, "There is something ahead." Quite so, all of Amalgamous said. Bats of Amalgamous let out sonic streaks and counted the echoes, found mountain peaks, not visible though to the naked eye. "It spins somewhere in Amalgamous," an old man cried. "See with ears, hear with eyes, echolocate, taste the air. There may be no sound, there may be a song, the infinite centrifugal bugle may be minute or it may be a mile long. Let us lower to the vortex, be the matter of the centrifuge, let us know this timeless thing, let us make it sing." Amalgamous' gentle hands took a tilt. Air pushed and pulled as it rushed, and the soup of the ground below rose up as Amalgamous lowered. To the eye, bats screeched again. Children clenched hands tightly together. Tails wagged, pigs oinked, young men breathed deep, and poised women of shy ways sang songs of solitude that pushed fear from the consciousness into the eye, intent to defy the hard hand of the vortex, the centrifuge, the spinning chaos filled with things picked up, things dragged up into the air. It must be there, Amalgamous cried. It is, the old woman pointed. It is, to the eye. There we know the bugle must reside. Woofs of dog and fox was the same. Mews of cats, thunderous shouts of brave men, songs. Amalgamous leved. He flew and he saw the infinite centrifugal bugle. But what now? There was no time. He would not survive. Elements from every angle strove to deprive Amalgamous of the dream. We must be strong if we are to give the bugle a song. Look, said the wise man. We can build a shield. Cat's eyes and bat's scream then revealed. We can forge the ally, make the many one. For in this wind fly gold, silver, cobalt, sea and sun. And in the air, briarwood and sand of the beaches of the newest world spun, and molten orbs that once had a fire made in old Caprium. The combined force of Amalgamous parts dreamed of magic, made forces start, while sand and briar and moor collided and then healed, forged as one to form the shield. Without eyes to hear now, there would have been some kind of peace. For Amalgamous floated safe in a spiral arm of an infinite centrifuge. Around him, sky and land presented themselves. North, east, south and west came and went. Had it not been for the crashes of the family members of this most curious gathering, were there not trees that flew at the shield? Were there not turfs the size of fields flapping against it? If lakes did not strike it, boulders did not pummel, great swathes of land did not leck it, if icebergs did not break upon it, Amalgamous' absorption of the ride with its strange beauty, its otherworldly kaleidoscopic wonder, would not have been denied. As it was, all within him had time to watch the view and to say as one, we will never see such as this again. And then to look, to find the force that set the centrifuge on its course. Below the eye of the storm, a mountain of sorts pointed an arm, a smoky black twisting tendril accusingly upwards. The mountain, a black hole compressed, dragged and piled beneath a twisted brass foam, and Amalgamous smiled a fox's smile. And gentle hands tilted, and Amalgamous soared, and the infinite centrifugal bugle came toward. With 3 valves atop, a funnel and a mouth it span, whirling air outward 100 feet long, and the breath of 10 men built in Amalgamous' chest. 'Tis time now, he said, to put it to our test. And he grabbed the thing, and air leapt from his throat into its mouth, and it let out its note. Hush, said everything there ever was. Listen. And the great Amalgamous found the valves of the instrument, and he blew again, and a note followed a note, like the morning following the sun. As harmonious as the day pursuing the night, who pursues the day, and they, how much they like it that way, and how much like that it is meant to be as the notes flowed through A to C to E. It was simple enough, the tune that he played, for all to know it, and none were dismayed. And from those notes a new order did start, plays as they were from everyone's heart. And Amalgamous flew from the now calm eye, and the winds began dancing, and the bugle it sighed. Hush, said Amalgamous, now there is nothing to fear, for as we leave, so we are still here. And where we will go, you will also be, for the world is now one. And the infinite centrifugal bugle said, yes, I see. By the glass mountain, a party was had, for the world was made right, and the people were glad. and the laughter, the dancing, and the rejoicing of friends took not 7 days, but infinity. The end.
You have been listening to The Age of Amalgamous and the Infinite Centrifugal Bugle. Written, produced and read by Dorking. Thank you for listening.